والنجم إذا هوى ما ضل صاحبكم وما غوى.
But I want you to understand something. Just like a car or just like a machine, the human heart and our emotions, we have limited fuel. We have limited fuel. You can only be so excited until the juice runs out. Like, for example, being on a treadmill, if you're going at a certain speed, you can only go so long before your energy reserves go low. If you're exhausting so much energy, feeling guilty about small things, then the energy you're supposed to have to feel guilty about big things is being depleted. Do you understand? So what then happens is, let me give you an example of what happens here. It creates what I'm calling here tunnel vision. So you can have someone, one of the major things Allah talks about, for example, is make sure you give your wife the mahar. Make sure you give her the mahar, right? He goes out of his way to talk about this issue. Okay. And he says, if you ask for any of it back when you're getting divorced, are you taking a serious allegation on yourself? Are you incriminating yourself by even asking for it back? The mahar you had given in case of a divorce? Okay. Now you have a person who's never even given the mahar. He's never even given the mahar. But he's losing his mind because if somebody's holding their hands the wrong way in salah, too high or too low, or somebody's scratching their face, or somebody's jeans are too low and they're going below their ankle and they're like, this guy doesn't understand the sunnah. You call that a beard? Your face is un-Islamic. And they're really particular about certain things and it's a really big deal to them. And they won't go to somebody's house. I'm not sure if they eat dhabiha or not. I don't know. They're Muslim, but are they Muslim with a capital M or lowercase? I don't know. So we can't be sure. Let's find out where they get their goat killed from first. Right? But the same person is completely okay eating the haram money that was supposed to go to his wife. No problem. No problem. You know what that is? A twisted sense of what? Proportion. These ayat, then when Allah says, the people who excel, they stay away from major sins. What does that tell you? They're vigilant. They're on guard about the right major things. And even though the smaller things are important, they're valuable, they don't get lost in them to the point and get obsessed with them to the point where the major things they're supposed to be dealing with are now getting lost. They're not even fulfilling those responsibilities. So the same way, so lots of small deeds. The second issue, lots of small good deeds used to mask the seriousness of major bad deeds. This is again a twisted sense of proportion. A person says, listen, I know that's haram, but Allah is forgiving. And Allah is so forgiving. I'm so blessed. I get to do so much sadaqah in Ramadan. And I fast every Monday and every Thursday. And I do this and I do. And you've got lots of small good deeds going on. And you're secretly helping somebody get a job. And you're giving charity. And you're volunteering. And you're donating blood. And you're all this stuff. But all this stuff is really good. It feels good to do good things. But it's masking that something of the kaba'ir is actually going on. Yeah, I own like 4 liquor stores, but I use the money for a good cause. I go to Hajj every year with beer money, So I don't drink it. I just drink the Zamzam when I go there. So you still have a drinking problem, So what happens then is when you have this twisted sense of proportion, you try to compensate for that in your own ways. You tell yourself, hey, listen, I know I'm messed up and I'm doing some kaba'ir al-ithm, but because I'm doing these little good things, it's not like Allah's not going to count any of it. So you're assuming that's how it works. إِن يَتَّبِعُونَ إِلَّا الظَّنَّ. And you're hoping that because you love to do these good things, but you also love to do these major sins, that you can hold on to all of the stuff that you love and not step out of your comfort zone. وَمَا تَهْوَى الْأَنفُسِ. These ayat the concepts of these ayat are intertwined with each other. كِتَابٌ أُحْكِمَتْ آيَاتُهُ. A book whose ayat are stitched together with each other. Then, you get If you stay long enough in the twisted sense of proportion, your religion entirely, you call yourself a Muslim, but it's a totally different religion. It's not the same religion anymore. Because our religion is defined by what is the priority and what is not, actually. يُنَبَّأُ الْإِنسَانُ يَوْمَئِذٍ بِمَا قَدَّمَ وَأَخَّرَ. Human beings will be informed on Judgment Day. What did they make a priority and what did they delay? So whatever's not as priority has to get delayed. When small things become your priority, that means big things get delayed. And when big things get delayed, you get the thing that's on your mind the most starts shaping your worldview. It starts shaping your thought process. It starts shaping your opinion of things. When someone, for example, is obsessed with tajweed, tajweed is great. I love tajweed. Obsessed with tajweed. When they're praying, all they're thinking about is what? MashaAllah, that qalqala though. That mud, I was counting 1, 2, 3. It was perfect. Allahu Akbar. To them, the religion itself, even though they're not saying it, the religion itself has become what? Tajweed. And when someone says Quran, they're not thinking the hikmah of the Quran, the wisdom of the Quran, the guidance of the Quran, the reminder of the Quran, the thinking through the Quran, the instructions of the Quran. You know what they're thinking? The ghunnah of the Quran, the qalqala of the Quran. I love Quran. When they say I love Quran, they mean something else. It's a different religion now. This shift in what the religion means to you, that happens when the sense of proportion is twisted. The essence of Islam is redefined. But then the scariest part, when all sins are deemed equal, when the small and big becomes equal, then I wrote here the floodgates open. Let me tell you what that means. There are some, and by the way, this is a separate study. If I started talking about this, we would take a course by itself one day. All the major sins Allah talks about in the Quran, all of them are addictions. All of them are addictive. And human beings to this day are suffering from each one of them as an addiction. Whether it's zina or alcohol or gambling, go through the gambit. Go through the gambit. They're all addictions, you know, and they're all like perpetuated. Like even riba is something that compounds and compounds. Alcoholism compounds and compounds. Addictions, gambling, it keeps on getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. It enhances. Those are the kinds of things that Allah has deemed kaba'ir. Fine. Your problem, you cannot protect people from the truth and say if they find the truth, they'll use it the wrong way. Listen, if somebody wants to use something the wrong way, they can even use the Quran the wrong way. And people have. يُضِلُّ بِهِ كَثِيرًا وَيَهْدِي بِهِ كَثِيرًا. They've used it. The Quraysh even used Surah An-Najm the wrong way and said, oh, Lat, Manat, and Uzza are legit. So this logic that somehow we have to protect the people and not tell them that this is not black and white because otherwise they will be fitna. Look around you, bro. How much more fitna you want before you say we're protecting them from fitna? What planet are you living on?